Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let us chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Let us quickly begin reciting Bhagavad Gita Sloka. We are reciting from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 12, text 12. So we're still reciting text 12. And if anyone needs to go first, please raise your hand. Aditi Lata Mataji and Arunita.
Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnanat dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagat shanti anantaram. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Thank you,
Yes.
Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Arunita
Hare
is
Krishna.
not here at the moment.
Okay. Isha.
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानाभ्यासात् ज्ञानाध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम्. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind.
Yes. I'm sorry. Achut Priya Arundhati Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Guru Maharaj.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
All glories to the simple devotees. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnanadhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phalatyagas tyagat chantiranantaram. Translation of the Bhagavad Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Krishna Ashish. Okay.
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम्. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind.
Madhava.
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानाभ्यासात् ज्ञानाध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम्. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in this cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation and fruits of action. For by such renunciation, you can obtain peace of mind.
Rasa Priya.
Shreyo hi abhyasat jnanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagat anantaram. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace.
Lokesh.
Hare Krishna Mataji, and was pronounced Shri Prabhupada Jai Guru Maharaj.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnanadhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phalatyagat shantiranantaram. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Thank you, Mataji. Lokesh is not ready, Mataji.
Okay. I think next is Priyanka Haripriya Mataji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnanadhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karmafalatyagash shantir anantaram. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action, for by such renunciation one can attain peace of mind.
Yes. Okay, Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Okay, I'll recite Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, text 12. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj jnanad dhyanam vishishyate jnanad sarv jnanad karma phalatyagas tyagad chantir anantaram. If you cannot take to this, but if you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one attains peace of mind. One can attain peace of mind. No, but just directly, if you cannot take to this practice. Okay, anyone else? So we'll begin reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 19. King Yayati achieves liberation. So, Yayati Maharaj is speaking to his wife Devyani. He and his purpose of telling this story is to awaken Krishna consciousness in Devyani, because he's also preparing her because he's going to leave home. He's going to leave home and take Vanaprastha. So he wanted to prepare her for that, and also for her own spiritual upliftment. So we saw he completed the story of the he goat and the she goat, and then he actually said that, it's me. The story that I told you, it's actually my story. And then further, he begins to instruct her that one who has lusty desires becomes envious, and he can never be satisfied. How much ever he may have, he won't be satisfied, and he will be envious. And when one is non-envious, that means when he has no lusty desires, then he'll be non-envious. Then he will be happy wherever he is. The whole world, appears to be happy to him because he's not envious of anyone. So we discussed that, the point of envy, yesterday. And how can one become non-envious? Only when one becomes Krishna conscious. Then he can overcome lust, he can overcome envy. That's the only way, becoming Krishna conscious. Then for those, text 16, for those who are too attached to material enjoyment, giving up of sense gratification is very difficult. That means even when you become an old person, still your body is not functioning, is not able to enjoy sense gratification, but that desire is still there. So he tries, he's not able to give up that desire for sense gratification. Even though he's not able to, his senses are not capable of sense gratification, but the desire for sense gratification has not died. Then why is he trying for sense gratification? Because he thinks that's the source of happiness. The way to become happy is to gratify senses. But how can he actually become happy? The way to happiness in reality is to actually give up such desires for sense gratification. That is what is going to make him happy. These desires for sense gratification are the cause of all suffering. Next, text 17. It's Aditi Lata Mataji and Arunita's turn today. Matra swasra duhitrava naviviktasano bhavet balavan indriyagramo vidvamsam apikarshati. Either Aditi Lata Mataji or Arunita. Okay, Isha. Actually, Achyut Priya Mataji, sorry. Because you didn't come for several days in between, I, you know, I keep forgetting. Sorry, Mataji. Go ahead.
No, Mataji, that's okay. Please don't feel like that.
Translation.
One should not allow oneself to sit on the same seat, even with one's own mother, sister, or daughter, for the senses are so strong that even though one is very advanced in knowledge, he may be attracted by sex. Thank Should
Yeah,
I read the
thank you, Mataji.
purport message? Thank you, Mukesh.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. So, talking about lusty desires, that's the whole point, isn't it? The very beginning. Why did even Yayati Maharaj start this whole conversation? He's disgusted, he's fed up with this hankering after sense gratification because he's never satiated. How much ever he's enjoying, he never feels like he's satisfied. It's the nature of lusty desires, it's the nature of sense gratification. You will not become satisfied ever. So that is the topic here. Lusty desires will not be satisfied and they will continue until the last moment of death. Lusty desires will be there. Until and unless you voluntarily stop them. And even that stopping is not just a mechanical process. Only when you become Krishna conscious, then by that Krishna consciousness, the lusty desires can be stopped, envy can be removed. It only happens by Krishna consciousness. So, how powerful is this lust? That's the point. First of all, even though, so the previous verse said, even if you become an old person, Srila Prabhupada said, right, we have seen even a man who's 80 years old, still he pays so much money to go to nightclubs to drink wine. You can imagine at 80 years of age, what will be the condition of his liver and his kidneys, right? What will happen if he drinks wine? But the desire is so strong. At that point, it's like a mad person. You cannot think of the consequences, how you will suffer later. You just want to enjoy in that moment. So even he's so old, he pays so much money to go to these nightclubs where he can drink wine and he can enjoy with women. Enjoy with women means he cannot actually enjoy, but he'll just see them. So actually, he's not able to enjoy his senses. But his going to the nightclub shows that he has this desire to enjoy, but he's not able to enjoy because his body is not supporting. This is how powerful lust is. Another point about lust, which is this verse. Generally, a man will not feel lusty towards his mother. He will not have lusty feelings towards his sister, or he won't have lusty feelings towards his daughter. Yes, generally he won't. Still, this lust is so powerful, it is so powerful. If you are in a lonely place with even your own mother or your own daughter or your own sister, you can be overcome by the material energy and you can start getting lusty desires. So it is strictly prohibited for a man to sit on the same seat, same asan, like, share the same chair, right? Same seat, either with his mother, his sister, or his daughter. You won't see that a man gets attracted sexually towards his mother or daughter or sister. You don't see this happening. Still, just to emphasize how powerful this lust is, this example is given. right? Normally it should not happen, but lust is so powerful. Even in these cases it can happen, so you should be so careful, right? Don't uh, don't put yourself in those circumstances where lust may overtake you, because lust is like fire, it just burns. So if you can even feel like this towards, mother, sister, or daughter, then what to speak of people who are watching these movies, all these. What is the consciousness of that person? Is completely under the grip of lust, material energy. And we already saw one who's lusty, he won't be satisfied with anything, he will be envious of others. So ultimately, he cannot be happy because he's never satisfied. How can he be happy if there is no satisfaction? He cannot be happy. A person who's lusty, he cannot be happy. So, what is the solution? Yayati Maharaj is saying what? You should stop these lusty desires by force, voluntarily. Don't wait that they will go away on their own. They won't go away. By enjoying lusty desires, they will never go away. You will have to put your foot down and say no. Srila Prabhupada says, like, the senses, they will be demanding, right? Give me, your tongue is saying, give me a cigarette, give me a cigarette. And you should say, a Goswami, right, one who has control on the senses, he will say, no, you won't get a cigarette. I won't give you a cigarette. Or the eyes will say, take me to that naked dance club. And you, the spirit soul, should tell the eyes, no, you will not go there. You will not see all this nonsense. Apuryamaणं achala samudramapah pravishanti advat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashantim apnoti na kama kami. This is that verse in the second chapter that says that these desires, lusty desires, you cannot stop the lusty desires from coming, but you can not act on them. That is within your capacity. How? The lusty desires are like rivers that are flowing into the ocean. Does the ocean become agitated when the rivers come, the river water comes and falls in the ocean? No. Ocean remains calm. It's not disturbed. So similarly, one who's a yogi, even when all these desires come, they come and they pass. It's as if like, that's not me. He doesn't act on them. He tolerates them. Otherwise, if you start taking those desires seriously, they'll just destroy you. So, to give an example of how powerful this lust is, this verse is said, one should not allow oneself to sit on the same seat, even with one's own mother, sister, or daughter. For the senses are so strong that even though one is very advanced in knowledge, he may be attracted by sex. This is Srimad Bhagavatam verse. Can you quote a verse from Bhagavad Gita which says exactly the same thing? The senses are so strong that even though one is very advanced in knowledge, he may be attracted by sex. Anyone remembers? The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination who is trying to control them. यततो हि अपि कौन्तेय पुरुषस्य विपश्चितः इन्द्रियाणि प्रमाथीनि haranti prasabham manah. So this lust is very powerful, right? Even though one is very advanced in knowledge, if he's not careful, he can become attracted by sex. Purport. Okay. So after Isha, Krishna Ashish. Oh, you didn't read. Acha, sorry, Isha. Achit Mataji read. Yes, Isha, go ahead.
Learning the etiquette of how to deal with women does not free one from sexual attraction. As specifically mentioned herewith, such attraction is possible even with one's mother, sister, or daughter. Generally, of course, one is not sexually attracted to his mother, sister, or daughter. But if one allows himself to sit very close to such a woman, one may be attracted. This is a psychological fact. It may be said that one is liable to be attracted if he is not very advanced in civilized life. However, as specifically mentioned here, vidvam sam api karshati. Even if one is highly advanced, materially or spiritually, he may be attracted by lusty desires. The object of attraction may even be one's mother, sister, or daughter. Therefore, one should be extremely careful in dealings with women. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was most strict in such dealings, especially after he accepted the sannyas order. Indeed, no woman could come near him to offer him respect. Again, one is warned herewith that one should be extremely careful in dealings with women. A brahmachari is forbidden to even a brahmachari is forbidden even to see the wife of a spiritual master if she happens to be young. The wife of the spiritual master may sometimes take some service from the disciple of her husband, as she would from a son. But if the wife of the spiritual master is young, a brahmachari is forbidden to render service to her.
Yes. So Prabhupada is elaborating on that point of how even with one's mother, sister, or daughter, one should not stay in a lonely place or share the same seat. Learning the etiquette of how to deal with women does not free one from sexual attraction. Of course, yes. Simply having this knowledge that, uh, you know, like there are many verses that say that a woman is like fire and man is like butter. If you bring fire and butter together, butter will melt, like this. So you read all these verses and you have knowledge. And just because you have this knowledge, are you going to be uh, free from attraction towards the opposite sex? That's the question. Is knowledge alone sufficient? No. Learning the etiquette of how to deal with women does not free one from sexual attraction. Such attraction is possible even with one's mother, sister, or daughter, right? But generally, one is not sexually attracted to his mother, sister, or daughter, unless it's an animal. Animals have no discrimination. But human beings, manishi. You know what is manishi? Manishi means human being, but manishi literally means one with a highly developed mind is called manishi. Manishi means one with a highly developed mind. So human beings cannot act like animals. It has become a fashion nowadays to act like dogs and I don't know, whatever other animals. They are human beings, but they think that now they will behave like animals, and no, that's degradation, because human beings are more developed. Their mind is more developed. If you act like an animal, it will not be acceptable. If an animal went on the road on the wrong side, the animal is not going to be fined or punished. But if the human being went on the wrong side of the road, he will be penalized. Why? Because human beings are more developed. So therefore, the responsibility is more, the expectation is also more. Expectation of proper behavior is there from human beings. So normally human beings, they won't be attracted to mother, sister or daughter. No, because they are human beings. But just to emphasize how strong this lust is, here it is said, if one allows himself to sit very close even to his mother, sister or daughter, to such a woman, one can get attracted. This is a psychological fact. But if you say, who will get attracted like this? This is another argument. Like yesterday, Nilambari Mataji was saying, Mataji, this is not applicable to everyone, isn't it? Right? Envy. Not everyone is envious of others. Not everyone is envious of everyone. The only exception would be if he is Krishna conscious, and also Krishna consciousness is also in various degrees. The extent to which he is Krishna conscious, to that extent he will become free from the base qualities like envy. Similarly, here also talking about lust, being attracted to, that means if one is a very advanced devotee, and then if he sits next to his, let's say, a very advanced devotee sits next to his sister, daughter, or mother, close. So you can put forward an argument that he won't get attracted because he's such an advanced devotee. He won't get attracted. You can say that, isn't it? Those who are neophytes, those who are not so well developed, those who are not even devotees, a materialistic person, for him this may be applicable. But a devotee, he knows, right? He won't get, this doesn't apply to devotees, isn't it? Is that a good argument? It seems to be a good argument, isn't it? But no. What to speak of anyone else? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself was so strict with his dealings with women. Why? To tell us, to teach us that it does not matter who you are, however great a personality you may be, but the material energy is so powerful. You can be victimized if you're not careful. So you can see the example of Lord Brahma, right? Lord Brahma was the first, he's the most advanced person in the universe. That's why he became Lord Brahma. But even he was victimized by the material energy. And he got attracted to his own daughter. Such an exalted person, he got attracted to his own daughter. So if this can happen to Lord Brahma, then what to speak of anyone else in this world? So to teach this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, he would be very, very strict with his dealings with women. What to speak of talking with them? They couldn't even come close to him to offer obeisances. So that's the point that's being explained here in this purport. It is a psychological fact that if you come in close proximity with the opposite sex, then there will be some agitation, right? There will be some attraction. But if you say one is liable to be attracted if he is not very advanced in civilized life, not to speak of devotional life, just civilized life, right? You are a civilized person, so you won't get such attraction because you know. If you say like that, vidvamsam api karshati, that means even a very learned person can become a victim. So what to speak of those who are not learned? That is why it is specifically mentioned here, vidvamsam api karshati. This lust is so powerful that even a learned person, if he sits, shares the same seat with his mother, sister, or daughter, he can become lusty. Even though he may be a very highly advanced or even spiritually advanced, materially advanced or spiritually advanced person, he can become attracted by lusty desires. This lust is so powerful, right? And if he can become attracted to mother, sister, or daughter, then what to speak of other women, right? In workplace, so many cases, families are being, they are breaking up because of this free intermingling of male and female. We cannot foolishly think that no, it's not applicable to everyone. It's not applicable to me. This is foolishness, right? If you're playing with fire and you think I won't get burnt, that is foolishness. Lust is like fire, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So that is why it's very important. The plan that is chalked out by the Lord in the Vedic scriptures, that's very scientific. And if one followed that path sincerely, he will certainly get success. But because of our, by arguments, right? And with our logic, we don't accept those statements, or we accept parts of the Vedic statements which match with my logic, and those that don't match with my logic I reject. If we act like that, we are in a very risky situation. So we should always be conscious of this. Even a very learned person can become a victim. That's the point. Therefore, what is the lesson to be learned here? Therefore, one should be extremely careful in dealings with women. One should be extra. So, of course, if you are a woman, then you be extremely careful in your dealings with a man. The point is the attraction between the male and female. So, if you are a female, then you be extremely careful in your dealings with male. And if you are a male, then you be extremely careful with your dealings with a female. One should be extremely careful in dealings with women. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was most strict in such dealings, especially after he accepted the sannyas order. No woman could come near him to offer him respect. She couldn't even come near him to offer respect. Again, one is warned herewith that one should be extremely careful indeed. See how many times it's being said again. Same thing. Therefore, one should be extremely careful. Here it is said. Again, one is warned herewith that one should be extremely careful in dealings with women. A brahmachari is forbidden even to see the wife of his spiritual master if she is young, right? So that's how. That means the wife of spiritual, everyone has 7 mothers. One of the 7 mothers is Guru's wife. Guru's wife is a mother. But if the Guru's wife is young, brahmachari should not look at her. Only look at her feet. Don't look at her. Why? Because of this principle. Lust is very powerful. Next verse. So Isha read, right? Krishna Shish. Purnam Varsha Sahasram me Vishayan Sevato Sakrit Tathapi Chanusavanam Krishna Teshu Pajayate.
I have spent a full 1,000 years enjoying sense gratification, yet my desire to enjoy such pleasure increases daily.
Yeah, purport.
Mahajayati is explaining, in terms of his actual experience, how strong are sexual desires, even in old age.
Yes. So Maharaj Yayati told 2 verses before this that you must stop, right, voluntarily, forcibly give up these lusty desires, because they are not going to go away on their own. They will stay. Even if you become old, still they will stay. The proof of this is myself. For 1,000 years I have been enjoying, and you know, right, my dear wife, you are with me all the time. You know how much I still hanker for you. These lusty desires are not going to go away, even just because you became old or you have enjoyed enough so much that now it becomes stale. No, that's not the case. I'm a living proof of this, Yayati Maharaj is saying. Next. Tasmad etam, sorry. Tasmad etam aham tyaktva brahmanyadhyayamansam nirdvandvo nirahankarash charishyami mrigai saha. Madhava.
Therefore, I shall now give up all these desires and meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, free from the duality of mental concoction and free from false prestige. I shall wander in the forest with the animals.
Finally, Maharaj Yayati breaks the news. After giving all this introduction by way of the story of a goat, a male goat and a female goat, some nice story. But he said it is similar to mine, right? And after the whole thing, he gradually brought it to the point of how strong is this lust, this attraction. And then giving his own example to explain that point of lust. And finally coming to what he actually wanted to say, therefore, I'm going to give up this family life, I'm going to enter into the forest. So by this time, Devyani got the message, right? She was prepared already by hearing to this whole story. She understood where her husband is coming from, what is his thought process, and then now she can understand. So he finally broke the news that he's going to leave home, he's going to leave her and enter the forest. Therefore, I shall now give up all these desires and meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not just go to the forest. Why does he want to go to the forest? To meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, all in the second canto, Parikshit Maharaj asks some questions. So, one question was, what is the highest perfection? What is the highest perfection? The reason he's asking this is, there are various paths. There is Bhakti Yoga, there is Jnana Yoga, there is Ashtanga Yoga, right? What is the highest of all? So, Sukadeva Goswami answers that the pleasure that one derives in having a loving relationship with Bhagavan. Bhagavan means the ultimate form of Bhagavan is Krishna in Vrindavan. So, the pleasure that one derives by having a loving relationship with Krishna, and in that relationship, when he experiences Krishna, what about Krishna is he experiencing? his form, his name, his qualities, his pastimes, when he experiences, by this experience, the pleasure that he is deriving. And how does he experience all this? By way of hearing, chanting, and remembering the names, pastimes, qualities, form of Krishna. This pleasure is Paramasiddham. It is the topmost perfection. It is the highest pleasure that one can derive. Those who are Gyanis, they get pleasure by realizing Brahman, right? Brahmananda. And those who are yogis, they realize Paramatma and they get also pleasure. They get liberation, moksha, different types of liberation, salokya, samipya, sarupya, sarshti, liberations. That's also pleasure because there's no more material pangs. When you're liberated, no adhyatmika, adidaivika, adibhautikal miseries. That's also one pleasure. But what is the best, topmost pleasure? Is experiencing Krishna in a relationship with him in these different rasas, and within that also the topmost rasa is kamanuga, right? Conjugal relationship. So anyway, unless all these other forms of yoga, they culminate in this relationship of Krishna, that means they culminate in bhakti. What type of bhakti? When do you actually get a relationship with Krishna? That happens in bhava bhakti. At least you should come to the stage of bhava bhakti. Whatever path of yoga you may be following, the perfection of that path would be when you come to the stage of bhava bhakti, at least to the stage of bhava bhakti, where you have a relationship with Krishna, and in that relationship you are actually experiencing the Lord. If you don't come, then that particular path is not the highest. The pleasure that you derive, the result that you get from that path is also not the highest. It's not the highest. That's the message. So here, King Yayati, he wants to give up his home and go to the forest for what purpose? To meditate on Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the point, because that's the highest. He is not simply going to the forest because the lusty desires are, uh, impediments, or he's not going because I have to take birth again and again in this material world. One more interesting point I want to tell you. We generally think that those who have material desires, they're the lowest, isn't it? Because they desire for material desires. I want a good job, or I want a nice house, or I want a car, I want a good bank balance, some security after I retire, so on and so forth, like that. These are material desires. But according to Srila Sukadev Goswami, a greater kami means one who is desirous, you can say lusty. A greater kami than this kami means one who is desiring material things. A greater kami than this is that person who is desiring moksha, liberation. What is the idea of liberation? You may say, oh, here liberation means one who goes and merges into Brahman. No. One who wants to go to the spiritual planet and be with the Supreme Lord. What is the motivation? You have to really study the consciousness of the particular devotee. His motivation is, this world is full of miseries. I cannot stand this world anymore. I want to go back to the spiritual world because there is no suffering. I don't have to deal with all the things that I have to deal with in this world. There, it's just eternal life, and no more suffering, no more birth, death, disease, all these problems are not there. And of course, spiritual world means it's full of opulence, isn't it? and there's no severe heat, no severe cold, no poverty, no disease, no death, and there you are in the spiritual world, and then you can do your devotional service there. And here, if I'm asked to do devotional service, something which is not comfortable for me, then I don't want. I look for a better comfortable situation, isn't it? So as long as we have this mentality that why am I practicing Krishna consciousness? Because it makes me feel good, right? I practice Krishna consciousness because it makes me feel good. I become happy when I do it. Therefore, I'm doing it. This is also one level of devotion, but this is not the highest level of devotion. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, we were reading, for you it's last night, for us in India it is this morning we were reading. Sachimata tells, this is when Mahaprabhu wants to, Mahaprabhu, after taking sannyas, he came to Advaita Acharya's home. And now, Sachimata also came from Navadvip. All the other devotees from Navadvip came. This is soon after, right? Mahaprabhu left home, took sannyas. Then after a couple of days, few days, he came to Shantipur. So they went and brought Sachimata there. So the devotees were practically on the verge of death in separation from Mahaprabhu. They were on the verge of death. At that time, they all came, knowing that Mahaprabhu is now in Shantipur, they all came. They brought Sachimata also. So Mahaprabhu said, of course, there was interactions between them and all that. But Mahaprabhu said, yes. So Achit Priya Mataji is saying temporary happiness. The happiness that we have in this world is temporary. It's full of misery. Yes. So Mahaprabhu said that I cannot give up on you, all you devotees, right? They're in great separation from the Lord. So yes, I've taken sannyas, but still I cannot give up on you. Nor can I give up my mother. But at the same time, being a sannyasi, I have to follow sannyas dharma. If I stayed in the same village where I was born, or if I stay in the same house with my relatives, this will be against sannyas dharma, and people will blame me. They will call me a fallen sannyasi. So find a solution where I can fulfill both conditions. I will not be called a fallen sannyasi. I can follow sannyas dharma properly, and at the same time, I will not have to renounce all of you also. Neither all you devotees nor my mother. Please make some arrangement. So everyone goes to Sachimata to ask her. This is what the Lord is saying. They go to Sachimata means in the same house. So maybe in different rooms, or maybe he was in the courtyard. She was inside maybe. But all the devotees headed by Advaita Acharya go to Sachimata and they say, this is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. What do you have to say? Sachimata said, if my son stayed with me at home, that would be my greatest happiness. But if my son is blamed that he's not doing his sannyas dharma properly, and if people criticize him, that would be the source of my greatest unhappiness. And then comes the famous statement. Sachimata says that I'm not concerned about my happiness or my unhappiness. I am only concerned about Nimai's happiness. His happiness is my happiness. If he is not blamed by anyone, if he is able to keep his sannyas dharma properly, that's all. That if he is happy, and of course he wants to be with the devotees also, so if he is happy, his happiness is my happiness. And immediately all the devotees said to Sachimata that your order is like it is a Vedic statement. And indeed it is. It is. This is the statement of the Acharyas also. From Srimad Bhagavatam also it is said that the real position of the living entity is to be happy by making the Lord happy. I'll say that again. The natural position of the living entity is to become happy. His only source of happiness is the happiness of the Lord or the satisfaction of the Lord. Anything outside of that, whatever other desires he may have, or if he derives happiness from any source other than the happiness of the Lord, then all those are not natural to the living entity. They are all outside of the Lord, outside of the natural swarupa of the living entity. Just like if I become liberated, I'll become happy, for example. Why I'll become happy? Then I don't have to face these threefold miseries in this world. So if I'm actually aspiring for liberation, that is not pure devotional service. That's not pure devotional service. But if my desire is, I don't mind whether I have to go to hell or heaven, or if it makes my Lord happy by my going to hell eternally, yes, I want to do that. Why? Because my happiness is in my Lord's happiness. This is a pure devotee. So with that, we can understand how far away we are from pure devotional service. Nevertheless, that is the goal. We all want to, our aspiration is to become a pure devotee. So pure devotee means my happiness is in Krishna's happiness or is in Krishna's satisfaction. That's a pure devotee. And in order to please Krishna, whatever difficulties I may have to undergo, they are welcome. If it pleases Krishna, then any type of personal misery for myself, it's welcome. Not that, oh my God, Krishna, I have to suffer so much. Please take care of this so that I don't have to suffer. That type of prayer is not pure devotional service. Okay. So, again. So, purport, right? Who read purport? Isha read already. Okay. So, to go to the forest and, you read, right? To go to the forest and live there with the animals, meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the only means by which to give up lusty desires. That means living with the animals is not the means to give up lusty desires. Meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that means to become Krishna conscious, is the only means by which one can give up lusty desires. Unless one gives up such desires, one's mind cannot be free from material contamination. No, we didn't read this purport. This is afterwards. This is Rasapriya read just now. Or Madhava read, Rasapriya has to read the purport. Okay. Therefore, I shall now give up all these desires and meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I was explaining that the topmost pleasure is the pleasure of bhakti. That's the topmost pleasure. So give up all lusty desires so that I can meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Free from the dualities of mental concoction and free from false prestige, I shall wander in the forest with the animals. So Maharaj Yayati breaks the news to his wife that he's going to give up his family life, take to Vanaprastha. Okay, so it's a big purport and we don't have time to read the whole purport today. Let's read it tomorrow. Rasapriya will be reading the purport tomorrow. Okay, 6:26 already. And I will read Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada's Leela. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 1, text 26. Please repeat. Tatra pashyat sthitan parthaha भ्रातॄन् अथा पितामहान् आचार्यान् मातुलान् भ्रातॄन् पुत्रान् पौत्रान् सखींस्तथा श्वशुरान् सुहृदश्चैव सेनयोरुभयोरपि. There Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. Yes. So Arjuna had asked Lord Krishna to bring his chariot to such a location, such a place from where he could see who were all the people that have come to fight with him, who have come to support Duryodhan, the wicked Duryodhan. And if anyone is supporting Duryodhan, means they should also have the same mentality as Duryodhan. I want to know who these people are. Please take my chariot. So Krishna drove the chariot to the middle of both the armies, and from there Arjuna is seeing. Who is Arjuna seeing? Standing as his enemies, all these people. Who are they? He saw his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, so grandfathers, Bhishmadev, teachers, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, maternal uncles like Shalya, right? Mother's brother. Brothers, all his cousins, Duryodhan and his brothers, they're all brothers. Then sons, so their sons, brothers, sons, grandsons, sons, right? Friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. These are the people that he's seeing that he has to fight with. They're all his family members. Purport. On the battlefield, Arjun could see all kinds of relatives. He could see persons like Bhurishrava, who were his father's contemporaries. That's why it is said fathers, right? Father's contemporaries, Bhurishrava. Grandfathers, Bhishma and Somadatta. Teachers like Dronacharya and Kripacharya. Maternal uncles like Shalya and Shakuni. Shakuni, right, is the brother of Gandhari. So maternal uncle. Brothers like Duryodhan. Sons like Lakshmana. Lakshmana is the son of Duryodhan. Friends like Ashwathama. Well-wishers like Kritavarma, etc. He could see also the armies which contained many of his friends. So this is the beginning, right, of Arjun's Shoka and Moha. Moha means illusion, Shoka means lamentation. So this is the very beginning. I mean, the lamentation has not started yet, but he's just seeing all his friends, relatives, family members on the battlefield. And these are the people that he's supposed to fight and kill. Srila Prabhupada's Leela Amrita, continuation. We are in volume 1, chapter 17. So Srila Prabhupada moved, or he was offered a place in the Bowery. So we read a little bit of about what the Bowery was, what is the history, and what type of people live there. Still, Srila Prabhupada was only interested in preaching. He didn't mind, even though people warned him, right? You're going to the Bowery. Well, the place that he was living in was quite costly, for one thing, but also he was not getting, he was getting some older people, upper class people like that. He really wanted to reach out to the younger generation, and all the younger generation were living there in the Bowery, Lower East Side. Okay, so we'll continue reading now. Prabhupada's loft, 94 Bowery, was 6 blocks south of Houston Street. At Houston and Bowery, derelicts converged in the heavy crosstown traffic. When cars stopped for the light, bums would come up and wash the windshields and ask for money. South of Houston, the first blocks held mostly restaurant supply stores, lamp stores, taverns, and luncheonettes. The buildings were of 3 and 4 stories, old, narrow, crowded tenements, their faces covered with heavy fire escapes. Traffic on the Bowery ran uptown and downtown. Cars parked on both sides of the street, and the constant traffic passed tightly. During the business day, working people passed briskly among the slow-moving derelicts. So derelicts are like these, you can say, like, those are kind of crazy kind of people, like drunk and like that. So slow-moving derelicts. Many of the store windows were covered with protective iron gates because there is stealing, right? So many of the store windows were covered with protective iron gates, but behind the gates, the store owners lit their varieties of lamps to attract prospective wholesale and retail customers. So this is the Bowery where Srila Prabhupada went. 94 Bowery was just 2 doors north of Hester Street. The corner was occupied by the spacious Half Moon Tavern. Tavern is where they sell alcohol. So the corner was occupied by the spacious Half Moon Tavern, which was frequented mostly by neighborhood alcoholics. Above the tavern sat a 4-story Bowery flop house marked by a neon sign, Palmer House, which was covered by a protective metal cage and hung from the second floor on large chains. So this sign was hung from the second floor with chains. The hotel's entrance at 92 Bowery, which had no lobby but only a desolate hallway covered with dirty white tiles, was no more than 6 feet from the entrance to 94. So we'll continue reading tomorrow. So this is a description of where Srila Prabhupada was to stay in the Bowery. So thank you all, dear devotees. You managed to stay. May I know who is Gayatri Das? Would you like to introduce yourself, please? Hare Krishna. You can unmute. Oh, I should. Oh, you're not able to. Hare Krishna. So I can call on you to read along with others.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, this is Suhrid.
Yes, Mataji. What's 1 second? Oh, sorry, Mataji. I don't know what's Gayatri.
Okay, no problem. I wondered, I thought maybe it's a new person, and so I was asking. Okay, no problem. So it's Suhrid. So I'll remember. All right. Hare Krishna. Thank you all,
Hare
dear
Krishna,
devotees.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.